What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day, and I want you guys to know 3 classes that are, in my opinion, underrated in the game. I don't think a lot of people utilize them a lot. I think a lot of people underestimate their capabilities and what they can do, and I just don't think a lot of people give them a chance. So this is my opinion. Hopefully you guys will find it interesting, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion on 3 or so ones that you think are underrated, or any class in general you think people don't utilize well or don't realize how good it can be. So, first one is Swordmaster. Now, why would I pick Swordmaster right away? Well, as usual, I like to judge a lot of classes based on what they're capable of with skills and spells. And I think a lot of people think war dances are kind of bad, or don't really realize the value in the debuffing and buffing potential of them. And not to mention the AoE heal of Harvest Dance is very nice. Yeah, it doesn't heal very well. You know, it's not as good as, Major Heal 3, but it's just as good as Major Heal 2 for the most part, so... if you're like me and you don't like those cleric boys, having him around can kind of be nice. And, the Bellows Dance is really good for Fortify. The Comely Dance is really good with Breach on multiple units. And obviously Lion Dance, given the strength, so that we are, frontline hits harder. These are all very solid. I've run these probably all the time. I don't really use Invigorating, I believe. Well, Weaken is good, though. Weaken is good. Or Bedeviling. Slow's good too. I mean, these are good. They're all viable. These are all very solid. It's very picky and choosy, So what do we got for skills that make him so good? Because he's underrated. Well, Preempt is really nice in the sense that you can, if this procs, you can get the attack before the enemy does, and you can kill them before they get to go. Basically, you get 2 attacks. Basically, the enemy will attack you, but you'll go before they do. Then they'll hit you, and then you'll counterattack if you have a counterattack available. Super good. Mighty Strike, extra physical damage is good. The Mind's Eye, evade up to 2 melee attacks, which helps for the fact that, the Swordmaster is kind of squishy, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like him so much, because he can't really take hits very well. So this really helps to take hits. And then Falling Blade is really good as well, because it guarantees critical and 100% accuracy. So if you use debuff weapons, it's very valuable. I have silence on this one. So, that procs, I use this and I get a guaranteed silence. So that's really nice. And, katana finishers, maybe it's just me, but I really like katana finishers. And I may or may not have a bias towards units that can use katanas. So, plus 2-handed katanas, we're basically a samurai, come on. So, I think he has a lot of value, I think he has a lot of utility, and I think he can help a team a lot. And to me, that's why he's good. Maybe other people don't agree, and that's totally fine, but let me know why you don't like the Swordmaster, why you don't use him. I think he offers a lot to bring to the table. The birds agree. They are beyond ecstatic about the Swordmaster because, Japan and swords. But let's go to number 2 underrated classes. What do you think it's going to be? For who's underrated, number 2, who is it? Yep, that's right. I think the Archer's underrated. I think a lot of people sell the Archer short. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Archer is still powerful. It's still very useful. I see so many comments, so many people, that got high on the PSP version with the Archer, and they were like, oh yeah, I can't one-shot everything no more, and I can't two-shot, and, those tanky knights, man, I can't hurt them, and, they're all just down in the dumps because they do, 15 damage to a knight because they shoot it with their bow, and... it already procced Phalanx, and they didn't realize that, and they're like, why did I only do 1 damage? Or, they're trying to snipe a boss with the Archer, and, that's just not how you play the Archer in this one. That's just, you're doing it wrong. You got the PSP version still in your head, fresh in your memory, and you think you're an unstoppable force of God that can just shoot an arrow and one-tap everything like you're playing Call of Duty. So, I think that's why a lot of people don't like the Archer and don't use it. But I would look at it this way. Once you get some status bows, elemental bows, condition bows, the Archer really opens up. Yeah, if you just use a normal bow, it's not that great. But if you have a bow that can do silence, or do charm, or do poison, or do any number of conditions on an enemy, it really, really, really works. Because you get Eagle Eye to proc, guaranteed debuff. You have Engulf, which gives you way more range than you would normally have. Tremendous Shot is super good too, and that's also a guaranteed debuff if you hit it. So you got 2 different ways to apply your debuff. And you play the Archer as a ranged debuffer. I mean, you could even get really crazy and have 2 bows. I don't think you can do that, can you? Yeah, whoops, I put a two-hands on it. I'm a little silly there. We'll just do this. I don't think you can you have two. Yeah, you can have two bows. Okay, I never really thought about that. This just came across my mind. You could have two different single-hand debuff bows. This is literally the same. Well, anyway, you could have a bow that does two different things. You know what I'm saying? And then you got two different debuffs available, two different conditions, whatever you want to call them. You know. So that is an option. I feel I never tried it. I literally just thought of it. So you know, maybe take it with a grain of salt. I might be talking out my, you know. I might be making this up as I talk, but it seems like it's viable. But anyway, the main reason I'm saying this is condition bows, status bows. That's the way to play it, I feel. And that way, even if there's a tanky boy and you only do 50 damage, at least you got poison on him, or breach, or charm, or, you know. And plus, a lot of the finishing moves of, like, a bow are very nice, too. So I think just a lot of people are high on the PSP version, and they wish the Archer was just that good. Now, the number one underrated unit, guys, that I'm going to say, this might shock a lot of people, and maybe I misunderstand a lot of people, but it is, yes, it is the Matriarch, Patriarch, Orc, Lizardman class, non-human spellcaster. I find a lot of people, like me, don't really recruit a lot of different classes. They get kind of comfortable with their main class and their main like party group, and they stick with it, which is totally viable. You can play the game with just one group with a few extras. I mean, the game isn't that hard, but I feel you're missing out on one of the better classes in the game, especially if you like spellcasters like Wizard or Warlock or any of those. This bad boy here, I mean, you know, it's so good. It's so good. We get access to not only single target but AoE spells. And then we have defensive skills that help with survival. We have evasion, 2 attacks, grant negate, so a magic spell won't hurt you. I really feel like the Matriarch, Patriarch's the male version, Matriarch's the female version, is underrated. I really do, because a lot of people got their Warlocks, or they got their Wizards, or they got their Necromancers, or they got their Liches, or any other spellcaster. They just kind of stay with those. But I feel the survivability on this class is what makes it great. The fact that it has the options to take a couple hits, as in evade them at close range. Enemy spellcaster tries to hit you. You know, you got negate up, it doesn't even hurt you. The only downside is if negate is up and you try to heal the unit, it's going to negate the heal. But I really think it's underrated. I think it's just great defensively, and you know, especially when you're in the higher level zones, when enemies are 5, 10, 15, 20 levels higher than you want all the defensive options you can get, because your guys are going to drop in a couple hits, you know, like it's nuts how quick you can lose units at that level of play unless you resort to some cheesy tactics or something. So that's why I feel the Matriarch is number one underrated, because I think it's your Wizard that can survive more. Yeah, it doesn't have conserve RT, a couple other things, but it's going to be alive. If you've played this game and you're at post-game, in-game, and you run a Wizard or any kind of spellcaster, you know how quickly they can get taken down. Now, granted, this won't always work. These are auto skills, so you're kind of at the luck of the game, I guess, the roll of the dice. But I think the Matriarch's a great class, and I really do think it's underrated. But let me know what you guys think. What classes do you think are underrated, people don't appreciate? You know, they don't realize the power, or they don't use it to its full potential. I would love to know. I would love to know. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, later, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.